You're with Julian on the Brown Note and a review of the latest Bon Iver album, SABLE fABLE. Justin Vernon's project, much beloved, probably one of the most preeminent indie songwriters of this century, which really came with the latent worship of the album For Emma Forever Ago, a much beloved totem, which grew over the space of about 2 years into becoming this sort of underground phenomenon. And he backed it up with Bon Iver, the self-titled second album in 2011. Since then, he's really gone down into this very abstract experimental world of music, similar, I guess, to the way that, I guess the difference between, say, Frank Ocean's Channel Orange and Frank Ocean's Blonde, where the music becomes so fragmented that I don't know that it's as satisfying, but there were still acclaimed albums, 22 A Million and I, but I definitely didn't listen to them anywhere near as much as the first two albums, which are more song-based. This album, SABLE fABLE, is a return virtually entirely to that song-based Bon Iver, which is incredibly welcome. Very, very happy to see that. I want to talk a bit about the, I think, horrible release strategy of this album, because I think it's an excellent album if it had been released all in one go. But he released, it's very, I mean, Bon Iver is really like a band like Tame Impala are. It's Justin Vernon, really. You know that it is, and it doesn't sound like a band either. They released an EP last year, probably in November, which I featured on the radio. Excellent EP, 4-track EP, but that's the first 4 songs on the album, and it's on a separate disc. It's on disc 1. And the next 9 tracks, which haven't been heard before, are on the second disc. And I don't really like that release strategy. I think it's very sort of, it makes it hard to listen to the album as a whole. So I will just basically treat it as, from going forward, I'll just treat it as one album, in which case it is excellent. So SABLE fABLE only just came out, much more song-based album. I'll go through the tracks from the way that it's listed, which is the second track is the first proper track, because there's only a fragment of sound with the opener. But Things Behind Things is a real going back to the really catchy, introspective, philosophical songwriting of the past for Bon Iver. I think it's arguably the best song on here. There's quite a little bit of Sufjan in the strings of the guitars on some of these, and he sings in the lower register quite a lot on this album as well. It's got a very sort of thoughtful, philosophical, almost paranoid vibe to it. Things behind things. And I thought it was really, really good. And so is the next track, Speyside, which came out on this separate EP months ago, which is very good as well. Nothing's really happened like I thought it would. And he uses his lower to higher register. The last of that award season, which is mainly a cappella, was the one that I liked least on that EP. And then we move into the new album proper, even though they're one album proper, and a much stronger album if you include those 2 high points ahead. Short Story is incredible. Full band sound and that trademark falsetto. Electric guitar coming through as well, almost kind of reminiscent of Perth, which opened the second Bon Iver album with that amazing guitar motif. It's only a fragment, sadly. It's a very short track. Everything is peaceful love. It's almost got this pulsing chromatic style beat, a really big full chorus on it. He does a lot of soul and R&B music on here with country. I think he's kind of invented his own neo-soul country genre. It's a very warm, engaging, if not that spectacular track. He does a chipmunk soul thing. I think this middle stretch of Walk Home and Day One are probably the weaker part of the album. Walk Home, it's got this chipmunk soul thing, which I don't know, and the beat as well, I don't know, it's slightly incongruous to the tune. It's almost like he's gone back to his roots of songwriting, but kept a couple of incongruous holdovers from his more experimental music, which I don't know that works. It's almost like he's got his heart in the mid-80s with Bruce Hornsby in the Range, and that's where I want him. but he's also got this chipmunk squawking samples and a clod hopping beat, which I don't want, which is a bit strange. It's an odd mix, to be honest. Again, they come out on day one. It's got a Dijon of a flock of dimes. I don't think that there's duets on this album. This is one of them where it sounds like they were recorded months apart. It's not like the two vocalists were sort of in the same environment. I don't know if it works. And the arrangement's quite messy as well. But the lyrics on this, can I get a rewind? What the hell is going on with Justin Vernon? Is he pulling a Bose selector? I mean, I can't imagine any other reason why he would pull a can I get a rewind, which is a motif in the song. Unless it means something else in America, but it's proper Bo. I tell thee. From is a much better track, I think. Full Bruce Hornsby and the range stuff here. And it's so much more beneficial to have like full live drums and a very driving live bass line as well. Real high point on the album. And he gets very, like, I'll Be There it's almost like the kind of neo-soul you'd expect from someone like J. Paul, or even like late period D'Angelo. It's just, get your fine ass on the road. I thought it was great. I don't know what it is, neo-country soul. Don't know if I've heard the genre before, but it's really good. Track 7, If Only I Could Wait. It just seems a little bit shy of its mid-80s shiny Mike and the Mechanics heart. It's got a very nice use of live drums and distorted guitar and the faded pulsing keys as well. Again, the duet, I'm not sure if the duet works. It's fine. It's another. It's just wish you'd like fully commit as one thing or the other. Track 8, there's a rhythm rivals the best on the album. It's amazing, gorgeous neo country soul, warm, engaging. Sometimes the lyrics on this are a bit simplistic. I don't know if that's deliberate. I think that's deliberate because his most enigmatic lyrics were always very obtuse, and I prefer that. They're very direct here, almost to the point where the rhyming schemes are a little bit simplistic. And then we end with Au Revoir, which is a fragment. But, you know, there's some, like with the Black Country New Road, there's probably three or so tracks on there that I didn't really rate that highly. But overall, a number of tracks that I really did rate highly. And it's just really welcome to have Bon Iver back doing, you know, not fragmented experimental music, but much more song-based. I just wish that he'd embrace his inner Bruce Hornsby completely, which he did on the first couple of albums. I thought he embraced what he was doing completely, whereas this sort of has these annoying sort of inflections from other genres which don't really belong on some of the tracks. Still a fine album, and I'm going to treat it as the EP and the rest of the tracks as one album, in which scope there's a number of really outstanding songs on here. So Bon Iver, Sable fABLE, an 8.5 out of 10. Too boring 8.5 out of 10.